Hello everyone, welcome back to Layout. Here with a little bit of an update. Been doing scenery work since the last time I saw you in July. Finally got tired of just staring at plywood and unpainted cork. So just diving right in. Last update, I had updated that this building was recently placed on the layout. Well, it is clear that I've decided to make this a permanent modification. I've put in a road here using simple grout, the DeLorean gray color. Simple grout is a pre-mixed sanded grout product that I was able to get at Home Depot. Back here is the first time I actually used it. The parking lot was a little bit rougher than I wanted, so I had to add some spackle on top of that and painted it gray to help blend it in, weather it a bit. But overall, for like a well-used old asphalt, maybe concrete road, I'm actually really pleased with the texture. The color's really nice, but I'll probably weather it and modify that a little bit. And then the sidewalk you are seeing is actually just spackling that was painted, used a dental pick to carve out the various joints, and then I weathered it and repainted it and weathered it just to give it a nice cool look. And then once I had all of that done, the building was just looking a little too toy-like, so went ahead and painted and weathered that. So we painted up here, here, and here to give a little bit of a, I don't know, color scheme, if you will. Repainted some of the bricks a different color, added a grout and mortar wash to the entire building, and then I also did a little bit of work to help cover up some of the plastic parts on these welter structures. Just don't quite join up perfectly, so there'll be like large gaps. So I just took some spackling, weathered it down, and then simulated some repairs to the building. I may weather that a little bit, but for right now, I'm just kind of keeping it as obvious repairs, so the building is maintained. Windows, I replaced the Walters glass with clear acetate. Still need to finish doing that, and then I'll completely redo the interior. Moving along this road here, there's a little bit of a crossing, but you see over here, I was really tired of just having a super flat layout, and I wanted the ability to just kind of break up, add topography. So we're just going to call this, there was a hill, and they cut it down to the kind of rocky base, and then they just cut it through where they wanted the track. So that's looking pretty good in my opinion. And then that gives this reason, or gives this road a reason to kind of force its way back over here to this road that was recently added. This one's just using spackle and some gray paint, a variety of gray paint, just to break it up and make it look more interesting. The glass factory has a concrete, I think it'll be concrete pad, just some balsa wood painted gray as a base color. We'll work on that more later when I feel so inspired. But coming back down to this road, which goes all the way to the front of the layout, you can see I've actually done some work on the Victorians for a couple months, I think. At least it felt like that. So we redid the interior on this one, added a new door, repainted that. Just generally made it more weathered and realistic. Once I have these actually lit up, I'll go ahead and give a show and tell on what it looks like on the inside. And then the other Victorian I worked on a bunch is this blue one. This one was also just looking a little bit too toy-like. Mostly I completely redid the top trim. So I pulled off the old thicker styrene and then put down some thinner. And then I tested out just painting the window frames themselves, but not the outside trim. It looks good enough. Definitely don't have straight lines. Completely redesigned the interior on this because I didn't like what was there before. And then some of the details that I'm adding on the inside are drop-down blinds. So these two, I worked on them until I kind of just got sick of working on them. So I just placed them here, and we'll see what comes of them. Moving on back here, I do still have the BLMA yard office there. We'll see if I keep it there. Don't know what industry it would be or business or whatever. But I do have a painted down gray path. This will probably be gravel path that goes to the Woodland Scenic substation here. That is actually elevated using a couple layers of cork and then some spackle to add a little bit of a berm, if you will, or naturalize the topography. Did the same thing for that little control building over here. In the back here you see I've acquired some Woodland Scenics utility poles to hook up to it, just to test it out, see how I like it. And then I also picked up a billboard. Not sure where that will go at the moment. It may actually replace this yard office. We'll see, I'm just kind of testing things out and seeing how I like it. Moving on over here, so I have added a new road all the way, well, still working on the back here, that's just paper. But we have a new road that goes from the back of the layouts to the front of the layout. That is mostly using that Simple Grout product. So we have my second attempt here at using the product. I just kind of work in small areas at a time. Once again, you can kind of see it's rough. However, if you look at the part that's in front of the station, that is looking brand new, smooth, and beautiful. So I started testing out adding a little bit of water in it and mixing it up more, and that really has had a nice outcome. The stuff back here is the as delivered or as pre-mixed color. The stuff in front, I actually added some DeLorean gray into the charcoal black mix, so that's looking really nice. The structures here, only difference is I've added a base that's not glued down yet, but those now have a foundation to sit on. And then back here, the sanded tile grout, once it's dry, kind of hard to sand or fix, if you will. So I'm going to test out or experiment with using styrene. Maybe this will be concrete, maybe asphalt, we'll see. But that's going to be a new technique I'll test out. The story here is this all used to be a concrete pad. This used to be rail served, and then trucks could also back up here, but they decided to redo the tracks. So all that concrete pad got ripped up and this new asphalt applied. Here's a quick look at the station, which I think is really starting to look good, especially from like this view. When I was looking through photos, it seems like SP would put in a concrete curb next to the tracks, and then everything else would just be asphalt within the concrete, just to save money. So we'll see how that starts turning out once I get more weathering in. But so far, I think it's starting to look real nice. Here we have the parking lot that's using some Simple Grout. Once again, I wasn't going for a perfect, brand new smooth finish here. I was still getting used to it. So the fact that it looks kind of beat up and even trenched out here because I had to do 2 different pours because my spatula isn't wide enough, I think is actually adding very well to the effect. The base for the station and this concrete here is actually just balsa wood that's painted gray. We'll work more on that a little bit later. That's mostly what I've done on the layout. It is a lot, but I'll go into some new acquisitions here. So here we have a Sacramento Northern 44-ton GE switcher by Rapido that I picked up. And then back here, we actually have 2 Sacramento Northern F3s made by Athearn Genesis. Been looking around for these for a long time. They're very hard to find. And it turns out my local hobby shop, they came up for consignment, so I bought them right on site. More acquisitions that are back here. I have some R7020 reefers from Intermountain. Here's an Athearn one, an old one that's been weathered for reference. You can see they're very similar. The Intermountain ones just have separately applied detail, and the biggest difference with that separately applied detail is they do have see-through mesh grates where the refrigeration units are on the car. Other new acquisitions include the Rapido, these boxcars, wood boxcars for Northwestern Pacific, Redwood Empire Route overnight cars. Since I have some NWP equipment, it's just kind of sitting over here, I sprung and got those cars as well. And then moving over here, last and most recent acquisition was this BART train by Rapido. Hats off to Rapido. This is a beautiful model. The detail is excellent. and I really do appreciate that they really even pay attention to the box. The box is kind of a piece of art, and they even go to the trouble of making the various manuals and pamphlets very nicely done, well artistic and such. So that should wrap it up for this update. See you next time.